Hello guys, so welcome back to Rooftop. I'm Somesh Khadie, your new art teacher, and today I'll be talking about Ganjifa Art. So, Ganjifa Art is basically an ancient form of Indian miniature painting, traditionally used to decorate playing cards, but originated from Persia and later uh, it started flourishing in the Mughal era and as well as Maharashtra, like the Maratha period, we can say, especially regions like Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Odisha, etc. So, Ganjifa art is all about hand painted cards, typically round or rectangular in shape, made from materials like ivory, tortoise shell, wood, or thick paper. So, today the material we'll be using to design the card is an MDF sheet, so a round sheet like this. uh, Ganjifa art has basically themed from the Hindu mythology, especially the Dashavataras of Lord Vishnu, the 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu in the Dashavatar series, also Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ganjifa art is basically painted in vibrant colors like yellow, red, green, white, and also black. The detailed design on the cards is usually made with white in color. Techniques are used like patterns like dashes, lines, dots, and few intricate patterns to design the card. Uh, so I'll show you the reference image we got for today's session. So this is the image, this is a reference for today's artwork. So let's start. So we'll be needing a rounder to draw the circles. I'll better add the reference image on the screen itself. Just a minute, guys. I hope you guys can see the reference image. So let's start. You can use a scale just in case you need one. First of all, we'll take a center for this MDF disc. As I'm very much familiar with these tools, I can easily create a center line for the circle. We just need a point where we'll place the rounder over here and draw the borders we need. So let's start with the main border. I guess that is still a bit cross. So here's our border circle, and later if you want to add few more lines to show the border details, add another circle. You can approximately take and half a radius of it to draw the circle. Again we need one more on the edge of the border over here. You can also draw the extra borders later when you paint over it. So here's this. As we have holes on the MDF sheet to hang this like a dangler or a wall art, we can say. So I'll be taking it diagonally to draw the art form. So let's start drawing the main design we have. I'll take a center line again, as we have a pigeon. The pigeon basically indicates in ancient times we used to have royal families and royal lovers, we can say. They used to have a pet pigeon, which like they used to tie a secret message with the pigeon and send it to their lovers. So this pigeon is a royal pigeon pet, and we'll be using the pigeon motif on our Ganjifa art. So first we'll draw the left side and then we can move to the right one, so that we get a perfect symmetry pigeon on our card. I guess the face according to the design is too big, so let's make it small. Here we draw the face. If there's a confusion drawing this pigeon, like in a perfect proportion, we can just mark the edge lines of the body parts of the pigeon. So this is the edge line of the head. Here we'll draw the edge line for the wings. Here we'll end the wings, and then the feathers at the back. So this makes the drawing easy to draw. A curve over here, and then the feathers. We'll follow the same process on the right side of this disc. To get a symmetrical pigeon design on both the sides. Usually keep the drawing light in color so that when you paint it doesn't come up out of the paint, but for y'all I'm drawing a bit darker so that it is easily visible to you all from the video. Peak. And now we'll go for the wings. So we already have this edge lines to draw the wings, and this makes drawing easier. There you go. Now we'll add the details to the drawing. The accessory the royal pigeon has. Eyes. Feathers on the head. Here we'll divide the wings to draw different patterns using lines, curvy lines, etc. to make the pigeon look more beautiful, more attractive. So these are the traditional patterns used to make Ganjifa art playing cards. So the cards interestingly started from the royal court, as the Ganjifa cards were played in the royal court. They become a significant traditional game, but nowadays the card game is fading away. But still Ganjifa art is still alive as an art form all over the India, especially in the regions of Maharashtra, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh. So the wings are completed. Now the accessories on the neck. There are two necklaces the pigeon is wearing, and those have very intricate designs which are very eye-catchy. and a pendant in between, which makes the necklace look very pretty. I'm getting excited drawing this Ganjifa card, as of it's my second time I'll be painting a Ganjifa card again, like a actual card I can say, as I've visited Sawantwadi before and it was a really good experience. So Sawantwadi is a place in Konkan region of Maharashtra. I could say my native place as well. But then I visited that place with my college friends for a field visit. There we met the royal family of the Sawantwadi. We visited the Sawantwadi palace as well. And believe me, it is super royal, super heritage and very beautiful. One must plan a trip like a bucket list trip to Sawantwadi. If you all are really interested into art, and not just Ganjifa cards, but they also make wooden toys and different beautiful stuff. From material they get itself from the nature. So basically the art form is very much eco-friendly as well. Later we can erase these lines as we don't need them anymore, just to clear the drawing when we paint it. So that you don't get confused while painting the visual because of the lines. Now we are left with the legs. So almost the drawing of the pigeon is ready. What pen are you using? So it's not a pen, Renu. It's a clutch pencil I'm using, and usually I use it very light, but right now I'm not running with a good video quality, so I'm drawing the visual a bit darker so it is visible to you all easily. Let's draw the border. Basically, the border contains very basic geometrical figures or natural motifs like flowers, leaves, trees, creepers, fruits, and geometrical figures as squares, triangles, whereas patterns and motifs as well. As the card is very small in size, and this is the standard size of the Ganjifa card, so it is a bit hard to draw motifs in it. So I'll suggest you can use the patterns instead. Well, it looks pretty good. So here our drawing is almost done, and you can see so now we can start painting. But then before starting with the paints, we'll have to give a coat to it before painting. So for the coat, you all can use a white color. For the painting, I'll be using acrylic colors. So you all can take the acrylic white color to start with. Just a slight coat of paint. To make the surface ready for painting. And it is necessary making the surface, putting a coat over it, as MDF soaks paints and liquid as well. So we'll just give a coat for safer side whenever we use MDF. Keep the coat very thin and light so that the drawing is visible to us. The consistency of water should be very less so that the color dries soon. So we let it dry. Until then, I would like to show another artwork from Sawantwadi, which is also a form of Ganjifa art. So the artisans staying at Sawantwadi who are working, like the master artists who are working with the same art form from their generations, and this is like an actual authentic profession for them. They also make toys out of wood, and this is a chess this is a chest made out of wood, and this is very much handmade and hand painted. So the moment we visited Sawantwadi Palace, it was all about different kind of wall arts and many other home decor things, all made with Ganjifa art. So not just playing cards, but Ganjifa art is very much live into the day-to-day lifestyle of the artisans and also the locals of the Sawantwadi place. So this is almost dried now, and we can start with the colors over it. So the color scheme we have in the reference is red, white, yellow, green, black, golden, etc. I guess that's it. So we have acrylic paints to paint the MDF sheet and a Ganjifa card. As it is MDF, I'll be using acrylic paints. Instead, if you all are drawing it on a card paper, you can also use poster colors for it. Watercolors really won't work, as traditionally the Ganjifa art is painted with natural pigments and opaque medium. So watercolor is a bad conductor, I can say. We'll start with the pigeon, as it is in the middle of the card. I'm using a thin, fine round brush to paint this miniature art. Let the color be very opaque and not transparent. We'll be needing another coat of white color, as it looks kind of transparent. So once we complete the first coat, we can start with another coat, which will give a perfect opaque look to the visual. I'm covering all the white patches, which is the skin part of the pigeon. As it's a miniature drawing, you will be needing patient and very patiently you will have to paint. Looks good. Now the feathers at the back. So we are almost done with the feathers over here. Now we move down to the wings. Making a white outline. As you can see in the reference image. Then turn the card according to your convenience while painting it. Mind your hands while painting so that the color doesn't spill out of the design. We are almost done with the white part, and it's time for the second coat, as we said. Wherever you see the transparent patches, you can fill them with the second coat of color. Let's move to the next color, and we can use a golden color or yellow. We have the white color we are having in a palette is very much bright, so we'll just add a few of red and blue to it. To get a good shade of ochre, which pretty much looks golden, and then to make it a bit lighter, we'll add some white color into it, also to maintain the consistency of the color. And we are almost there. Pretty. So now we can paint the accessories with this color we have made. This color looks pretty much good with white. Again, it will be needing another coat. feathers on the head are also golden in color. We have almost covered all the body patches of the pigeon. Now just the legs and the beak. Again, a second coat. To the wings. Now the color looks perfectly opaque, as I was expecting. Now let's go for the background color, which is black. I'll be starting from covering the edges of the pigeon drawing so that later I can paint the rest background easily and the color doesn't spill or mix with each other. Which is a safer option according to me while painting. It's really fun painting this card as it is very tiny in shape and I can move it anyhow while I'm painting the card. Slowly and patiently I'm covering all the edges. So adding the background makes the card look pretty good. Now we'll cover the legs. You will really need a very thin brush for this, as the parts are quite tiny to paint, and you need to be very careful. We have almost covered the edges as of now. Perfect. Now we'll cover the border line for the black patch, as you can see in the reference image above. Smoothly moving the brush, we are covering all the black patches in the painting. Which is making it look more elegant. Here we go. So we have covered almost the whole background of this card using black color. The next patch is of green. slowly we are moving towards covering the whole card, and step by step it is looking much prettier by every new step. This is a thin border line in green color. The border usually have brighter colors, vibrant colors, which makes the card look very much attractive and also gives a traditional look to it. Painting the artwork, we should be careful about the paints. If they are not really dried, we can take a break and stop painting until the part we have just painted gets dried. Looks good. Now this yellow color. According to me, yellow is a very much traditional color, I can say, which looks kind of festive and very creates a happy mood whenever we have a look to yellow. So I usually prefer using yellow color in my artworks, which make them look very attractive and interesting. One by one we'll cover all the square patterns on the border. This takes me back to the memory of the royal family meetup at Savantwadi Palace, as me with my friends were painting these cards and learning Ganjifa art itself with the royal family. There I painted a Ganjifa art in red color more of, and the Dashavatara motif of Kurma Avatar, which was looking stunning, and I really enjoyed the whole process, meeting the artisans. Pretty cool people around there. Also, the palace has a good hotel stay, which is again whole about Ganjifa art. A visual treat for all the artists and also the people who love art, especially Indian tribal art. Covering all the patches, we'll add the details to the patterns and forms on the card. Here we go, completing all the square patterns. Till then we'll let the squares dry and we'll paint the eye of the bird using a very thin brush. And also we'll cover the peak of the pigeons. Looks good. Now let's move to the final red border. Oh no, we have another border which is a bit darker version of red color. So we'll cover this border first. Minding the square patterns in between. I'm so enjoying the process of this Ganjifa art, and also the artwork is getting more prettier. I feel I'll be hanging this wall art at my workplace. You all can also start painting and join me. Painting your own Ganjifa cards and creating your own masterpieces. Again, you need a thin brush, a thin round brush to cover the border edges. Thank you, Renu. You all can ask me any questions or any doubts you all have about Ganjifa art or the art process I'm showing on this slide. Now we'll cover the border edge as we have covered the square pattern very patiently. Where the border is getting almost ready and also looking stunning. Here we go, like almost done filling the patches, and now my favorite part, we'll be moving towards the details. Details is what I love in all art forms, and which makes tribal art and folk art my favorite subject, as it has many intricate details and tiny tiny patterns. So the border at the end has a darker shade of red, so we'll make it adding some amount of black color to red. Here we go. We can paint the edge part very easily, as there's no boundary to it. We just have to be careful that we don't spill the color inside. I spread it going very fast. And we are almost there. Yes, sure, Raksa, as we will be having more sessions today. And yes, of course, those are about Indian tribal art and folk art. So now let's start with the details. We need a bit of finishing with this green color. We can see another coat to it. Let's give this a borderline with black or a certain amount of blue, and then adding pinch of black to it. I'm using a very thin round brush, paint the border part. You need full concentration while you're painting such a tiny border. The amount of paint in the brush while painting the border should be very less, as the color might get spread while we are painting the border. As of I'm using acrylic colors now, I have the surety that the color won't spill out. Move towards the wings. And the accessories again. Belt for the feathers. details to the wings. Using the curve line pattern. Which is commonly used to detail the wings of any bird in various art forms. Now the beak. The legs. And lastly, the feathers. Let's add more details to the accessories. We can show the stones on the jewelry with red and green color. Starting here with the red color. Now the green color beads. Looks very much pretty. We also got the cubes in yellow color, in which we have the green dots. adding details. Be careful you don't spread the color. The dots make this art form look very prettier, as you can see. Now let's paint the white dots. I need a more thinner brush for this. Starting from the accessories, if ever the color spills, you can wipe it with a wet cloth or tissue as well, and paint it again with the acrylic color. Again with the white dots. Take a good amount of white color in your brush so that you get a perfect round dot to make patterns out of. And these dots make Ganjifa art look very prettier. It's like a finishing touch to the art form. It looks pretty, right? And now on the red color patches, Here there are a bit tiny dots. Looking very pretty, I see. You all can add few more details to make it look very attractive as per your expectations. I'll let the dots dry for a while. Until then, we can give a few finishing touches if those are needed. Eyes look more pretty now. I'll be adding a pinch of more pretty details to the artwork. Using the dots again. As I mentioned, that yellow is one of my favorite colors. So we are almost done with it. So here's our pigeon, a symmetry pigeon design Ganjifa card ready. You guys can also know much more about this art form and on a Rooftop app. I've mentioned the link below this video description, and also you can check our website and Amazon website as well, where you will find good art books by Rooftop. And I'll see you guys again in the next session. Until then, stay tuned. Bye bye.